Hi guys, welcome to our DIY video for a Newton's Cradle. Some of the things we're going to be needing are these giant popsicle sticks, some string, some hot glue, some marbles, and some beads. Now it's a pretty simple project that we're going to be doing, and to start off we're going to want to build a frame. So you start by making a square with the wood, lining it all up. And then you're going to want to hot glue the centers, the corners, together. Now wait a little while for the hot glue to cool and for it to stick. Now we're going to move on to the last bit for the square frame. It's important that this becomes very much as perfectly as square as possible for the Newton Cradle to be successful. Giving some time, some pressure for it to all stick together. Okay, now we're going to move on to making the rest of the supports for the Newton Cradle. You want to put 3 of these giant popsicle sticks together. We had already made some, but we're going to go ahead and show you how to make them. So, get one popsicle stick, put some glue, stick it to the next one, and then do the same, line of hot glue, another giant popsicle stick, just like that. You're going to want to make a couple of these. And then now we're going to start putting them together onto the frame. Now, yeah, just put some glue on the corners, a lot of glue, make sure it works, and then some in the middle. Now we're just going to stick it on just like that. Putting a lot of pressure, adding some glue where it needs it. And doing the exact same to the other side with the other three-fold popsicle sticks. You want to be careful with the hot glue gun. It can be very hot. And might require some extra glue. Now we're going to go on to make some double ones. Now we've made some. We're going to show you how to make them, of course. Now these are just going to require just 2 of them stuck together. You want to get a good piece of wood, 3 places, and then just stick them on, press tight, give it some time, just stick together. Looks good. And then these are going to be the arms for the Newton Cradle. Now you're going to want to put some glue for it to go onto. And just like building the walls of a house. Making sure you have plenty of glue and plenty of time for it to stick properly. Make another arm, glue on both sides, sticking it on. While we dry, we'll show you, we've made one earlier, and it should end up looking something like this. Now, we'll move on to doing it for the other side with some other of the 2x2s that we made. Don't be afraid for using a lot of glue. You're gonna want a lot of glue for this. More glue. As you can see, we're starting to get all 4 sides together. If it looks a little wobbly, that's okay. We're going to put more glue in places so that it will stick better. And then we're going to do 1 piece of wood right there. And that's where we're going to end up attaching the strings, how we have here. Now, just put some glue either corner. Go on. Placing it there, giving it some time to really start drying and sticking properly. And now we're going to make the other arm the exact same way like we made the first one. Giving plenty of time for them to dry. Then we're going to have one, as you can see, it's kind of off center. We're going to have one to kind of support it and make it more like a cube. And this is going to help the shape of it. Now this activity is going to take you some time, especially when it comes later on to the strings and attaching on the strings. Now you want to make sure everything looks right, giving it a final look around. Oh, as you can see, it came off here, but if that happens, a little more glue solves all your problems. And just making sure to have patience with the project and making sure it all sticks together. Now, as you can see, the frame is built. We're going to go on to show how to connect the beads and the tape. We already have one where we have connected most of them, and we will work on putting on the last 2 and showing you how to go about doing that. Now you're going to want to cut some string. We used our own popsicle sticks to measure, and we just did about 3.5 for each string. We used about 10 of them. And then you're going to want to take the marble, hot glue one of the beads onto all the marbles. And to show, just put a little bit of hot glue, stick one of the beads, and this is where the string's going to go through on the Newton Cradle. And of course, once again, making sure, giving enough time for these suckers to dry. Now you're just going to feed the string right through. Sometimes the string gets a little frayed, you just want to tighten it through the bead, put it, roughly in the middle, and then lining them up on your Newton's Cradle to line up with all the other ones. Make sure you get each side properly. Sometimes it even helps to have an extra set of hands. And sometimes that hands can get in the way. Now, important tip when doing this is to make sure that all the balls are touching and hanging pretty low to the ground. This will help the Newton Cradle swing. Then we're going to move to putting some hot glue in these areas on the string to make sure they stay. There we go. As you can see, you want them all to be lined up, hanging low to the ground. That's a very important part. If not, it won't work properly. Giving these time to dry, and you want to put them roughly the same distance apart. That's very key. Now, show you once again, one more. Same size string. Feed it through the bead. And then make sure the bead hangs at the exact same length as all the rest. Tie them. You can tie them these different ways. This is one of the ways that we chose to, but whatever tying method works best for you. And remember, sometimes extra hand or two. Now, if we see that they're all lined up, we're going to start gluing. Okay. And then some glue on the other side. And the Newton Cradle is almost done at this point. The next step we're going to do is add some hot glue onto the beads to make sure that the beads don't slide on the string. But just giving a minute for these to cool off. Remember, patience is important, rubbing off into the excess. Now, we're gonna make sure that all of the beads are lined up, and recommend to just use 2, and if you don't have 2, just using one of the other popsicle sticks to make sure that they're all together. Adding some hot glue. Okay, so that the string doesn't move on the string. Take time to make sure they're all even. And as you can see, there's your Newton Cradle. Thank you for seeing our DIY video.